Drake rides for Jim Jones after Wildness diss, and it's petty with a capital PDRAKE. Just went all in backing Jim Jones right after Jim had the nerve to say he's better than Niz. Yeah, Niz, but the real kicker, this wasn't just about loyalty. This was Drake at his pettiest, and trust he meant every second of it. See, Drake thought things between him and Niz were chill. No smoke, no tension. But then Pusha T came through with a bombshell. Niz is featured on the new Clips album. And that right there, that's when it got personal, like really personal. One feature, one move, and suddenly Drake flipped the whole board. He jumped ship and linked arms with the one dude out here publicly trashing this Jim Jones. And while the rest of the rap game backed up real quick, distancing themselves from Jim's shady antics, Drake did the exact opposite. He doubled down. He locked in. Now Jim's out here on a wild one, calling Drake the greatest rapper of all time. Better than Niz, better than Jay-Z, better than anybody who's ever spit on a mic. Wild, right? But it doesn't stop there. Jim's not just hyping Drake's name. He's jumping into the fire for him, riding hard in Drake's legal battle against Universal Music Group. Yup, Drake's suing his own label allegedly for letting Kendrick drop that scathing diss. Not like us, without warning, and Jim, he's standing tall like it's a revolutionary act, according to him. Drake's not being petty, he's fighting for the culture. No. Seriously, that's what he said. While the whole rap world's been dragging Drake for lawyering up after catching that L from Kendrick, guess who's still riding with him like it's a blood oath? Jim Jones. That man's holding Drake down like he's protecting royalty. Now, the internet's glued to this weird bromance, and the questions are flying. Like, is this about loyalty and principles? Or is it just elite level trolling for clicks, clout, and chaos? Because from the outside, it's looking real desperate. Like to rappers clinging to a spotlight that's already dimmed. But here's where it really kicked off. Jim Jones didn't just stir the pot. He flipped the whole damn table. He set the rap world on fire the moment he stepped up and declared he's better than Nas. Yeah, that Niz, the living icon. The man who dropped Illmatic before half these rappers could even spell Mick. And ever since that reckless moment, the heat hasn't died down. Jim fired the opening shot, and now with Drake backing him like it's a movement, he might actually think he's leading a revolution. He really said that. Jim Jones stood firm and told the world he's better than Niz, and when the entire hip-hop community clapped back, he didn't blink. No backpedaling, no regrets, zero apologies. Instead, he went even further with the most outrageous flex imaginable. I made Niz go viral again. Like what? But let's keep it a buck, hip-hop fans weren't here for it. The internet exploded. Comments flooded, mentions straight up blazing. People called it what it was. Flat out disrespect. Most couldn't even wrap their heads around the fact that Jim Jones and Niz were being mentioned in the same sentence, and the rest. They laughed and kept circling back to one brutal question. Who let Jim think this was okay? Because from the outside looking in, it felt like a man confusing Instagram clout for a legacy that simply isn't there.
Jim Jones. Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Okay, Nas.
Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Nas.
All right. Nas or Jim Jones?
Is that a serious question?
Yes,
Nas, bro.
Well,
Jim Jones the clown.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Come on.
Is that a question?
Yo.
Is that a
Hey, yo.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Come
though.
on.
I ain't say who.
Yo.
Nas.
Nas for the culture.
All right. Nas or Jim Jones?
Said Nas or Jim Jones? Oh,
It doesn't matter that Jim's been grinding for over 20 years, pushing mixtapes, hitting tours, showing up on reality TV. The second he tried to stack himself next to Niz, that whole legacy gone. People stopped caring about the grind because, in this game, there are levels, and Niz is playing in a whole different league. We're talking about the man who dropped Illmatic at 20 years old. A project so legendary, its impact still shakes the culture decades later. He's not just respected, he's untouchable, and it's not just fans giving him flowers, it's icons. RZA, one of the sharpest minds in hip-hop, flat out called Niz a genius, said he's a Bobby Fischer of rap. Let that marinate. That's not just rhyming, that's chess-level lyricism, 10 steps ahead, every bar methodical, every word a calculated strike. That's not someone you come for casually. And Jim, yeah, he walks straight into the storm.
Or Nas or Bobby Fischer of MCs. Because Bobby Fischer was the youngest MC youngest chess master
player, right.
to master. He became a grandmaster at the youngest age.
Right.
There's a few that beat him over the years,
Right.
but he was the first one at that age to be, and Nas was a master at the age of 16, 17,
Right.
where most of us, because you met us, we was already in our 20s.
Right.
He was at the age of 17, 18, dope as somebody that was 25, 30.
Right. That's true.
And he, no, seriously.
But guess what? Jim still isn't letting it go. He just dropped a teaser for his upcoming interview with Angie Martinez, and by the sound of it, he's still got smoke for Nis, still talking reckless, still trying to justify the unjustifiable. And honestly, fans are tired. Scroll through the comments and it's crystal clear people are over it. They're not buying the whole real talk routine. They see right through it, a full throttle cloud chase. One fan wrote, "Why is this Mon child so obsessed with going viral? That's literally all he does now." Another added, "He really thinks disrespecting this is gonna sell records. Bro, it's 2025, not 2005. But the coldest comment? Someone dropped a savage truth bomb. How you lose a rap battle you started, and the other dude didn't even spit a single bar? That's cold, and let's be real, that one hit hard. Because Nis, he hasn't said anything, no verses, no shade, no subliminals. Just silence, and somehow, that's louder than any diss track could ever be."
Respect is something I might not get from everybody, but you're definitely not going to disrespect.
I
was like, yo, we should have Jim on the pod. And then the next day, Jimmy's viral.
This is one of the ways of marketing that is working right now in today's music.
Hi, baby! Where are you at with marriage now? How did you feel about Sierra running up on you at the, you invited?
I know anything Sierra's going to say is going to go super viral next to me. I'll take it. I know how to turn my negatives into a positive. Man, I didn't know how many people love Nas.
And that silence from Nis, yeah, it hits different. Not a word, not a verse. Not even a passive-aggressive emoji on Instagram. It's like Nis saw the chaos and decided Jim wasn't even worth the oxygen. Just pure, surgical silence, and somehow, that's louder than any diss track could ever be. But right when it felt like the circus was finally dying down, boom, Drake jumps headfirst into the mess like it's his personal war. Spoiler alert, it's not, but that's never stopped him before. He slid in smooth, posted a crisp, filtered photo of him and Jim Jones, grinning like mob bosses plotting their next big play. And Jim wasted zero time. He jumped into the comments and dropped this gem, "Men of respect. Mafia rules, a toast to the last ones left. Yeah, alright, Tony Montana." And you already know what the internet said. It wasn't cute, social. Media flamed them both, dubbing them the two corniest rappers alive, and honestly, most folks agree this wasn't about loyalty. This was a straight-up clout grab. Drake thrives in the chaos. He'll stir any beef, hijack any narrative just to stay in the spotlight, because for him, trending is a mission. Let's be real, Drake diving into drama, that's nothing new. It's basically his side hustle. The more backlash he catches, the more spotlight he grabs, and trust he knows it. This man doesn't just stir the pot, he dumps in extra heat and watches the internet detonate. But here's the twist, this wasn't just another clout-chasing play. Nope, there's history between Drake and Jim Jones. And when things got real ugly during that Kendrick war, Jim was one of the only big names who didn't fold on Drake. Remember when Drake slapped Universal Music Group with that wild defamation suit saying, "They let Kendrick drop Not Like Us unchecked." The rest of the rap world, they laughed, mocked him, called it soft. But not Jim. Jim stood firm, called it a power move, dead serious, and then he doubled down. In an interview with Angela Yee, Jim straight up said, "Drake has done more for the culture than most rappers in the game." Wild take, absolutely. But Jim wasn't finished, not even close.
Really suing Universal.
Man, how many niggas you in the hood you know got lawsuits? How many niggas?
It's different though.
How? How many niggas in the hood you know got lawsuit money? How's it different? He's in a different realm. That's his hood.
But I feel like it's where the lawsuit. I feel like where the lawsuit's coming from.
Listen to me. Where's it coming from?
It's coming from a rap beef. That's giving them the motive to have the lawsuit.
You think about this wrong. You think about a bag, or you think about a rap beef that's imaginary to the people. These are playing on the highest level of fucking entertainment. $1 billion game. Now, if he could catch $1 billion game in the midst of a rap beef, I
think reputation matters. I think your image matters.
Bro, he's not snitching on nobody. He's catching a lawsuit.
No, I'm not. This has nothing to do with it. I'm not calling him a snitch.
Let's get this together. He's not in a court of law. He's not have a personal suing against Kendrick Lamar, which everybody seems to think that this lawsuit is about. He didn't sue Kendrick Lamar. He sued UMG, which is the biggest company that has the biggest bag. You think I ain't gonna sue Amazon if I ain't get a chance to? Me suing everybody. any one of them companies I get a chance to playing at that level to sue.
Then came the moment that had the whole timeline gasping. Jim Jones didn't just call Drake one of the best rappers alive. He crowned him the greatest of all time, GOAT status, no hesitation. Full stop. And just when you thought the hot takes couldn't get any wilder, Jim went left and called Drake his spirit animal. Yep, that actually happened. Now, to be fair, Drake's Dipset obsession runs deep. Since day one, he's been repping Harlem, name-dropping Cameron, Jules, and Jim like day one homies. Back in 2023, Jim even made it official he dubbed Drake the honorary 5th member of Dipset. So yeah, there's mutual love. But don't get it twisted, this Nas versus Jim drama. Drake didn't jump in because of some ride-or-die loyalty. This move? It had chess written all over it. Here's why. Pusha T and Malice just revealed the official track list for the new Clips album, and guess who's featured? Nas. Yep. Complex confirmed he's on track 12, titled Let God Sort Them Out, Chandeliers, and the second that dropped, the internet exploded.
Drake, what you really gonna do with it, man? He's changed the way that we listen to music in the past 10 years wholeheartedly, and everybody that's been around, he's helped change their sound also. For all our favorite rappers, you name the top rapper right now, has helped them tremendously out in their career by just jumping on a record or putting them on a tour. You know what I mean? Like, he's done more for our culture than.
Now, there's no official word yet on whether Nas's feature is a diss shot or just lyrical sparring. But in a recent interview with Rolling Stone, Pusha T called the track sharp. He even admitted he's been chasing Nas collab for years, so no, this wasn't random, this was surgical. But here's where it gets even crazier. The Clips album doesn't just feature Nas. It's also about Kendrick Lamar on a track called Chains and Whips, and the entire thing, produced by none other than Pharrell. Now fans are putting the puzzle pieces together. Pusha, Kendrick, Pharrell, 3 names with one thing in common: beef with Drake, old scars, lingering tension, unfinished business. Now let's zoom in on Nas for a second. He's never had public issues with Drake, no sneak shots, no cryptic lyrics, no shade. Their whole vibe cordial at best. But now, Nas is featured on the same project as Drake's most dangerous rivals, and fans are calling it what it looks like, no accident. You might think that's a stretch, but insiders close to Drake are saying the same thing. He's heated about Nas appearing on that album. Why? It's simple. Pusha T. If there's one MC Drake wants zero smoke within a lyrical war, it's him. Period. No clapbacks. No rematches. Just stay clear.
Does Drake stand in hip-hop history?
I would say he's the greatest of all time. The relevancy that he keeps showing year after year, hit after hit, record after record. Any record that he has put out has seemed to go multiple platinum. Like, that's never has happened before in this history. I mean, there's a few other people that do astronomical numbers like that, but he really in it. Like, you know what I mean? From all angles of music. It ain't no place you can't go that they not gonna play some Drake records to get the party started. He moving around here like the real Bruce Wayne. Like, he's my spirit animal, man. I just gotta give credit where credit is due.
Let's not forget who Pusha T really is. He's the same man who dropped the story of Adidon, and in one vicious track, ripped Drake's image apart. He exposed the secret child, uncovered the hidden drama, and stripped away the glossy superstar mask Drake had built for. You're stot, Drake. He never truly bounced back. He went quiet, tried to laugh it off, acted like it didn't sting. But let's be real, that diss cut deep and fans never forgot. Now here comes Nas. He's never disrespected Drake, never tossed subliminals, never clapped back. They weren't tight, but they weren't foes either. Drake's even paid homage to Nas's legacy multiple times. But this latest move, different energy because standing shoulder to shoulder with Pusha and Kendrick? That's not a feature, that's a flag being planted. And just to turn up the tension, right after Kendrick dropped his album and danced on Drake's downfall, Nas posted the cover on Instagram and wrote, "Always inspired by my brother Kendrick Lamar, keeping the essence of this alive and at the forefront. Salute, King." That wasn't a compliment. That was a co-sign. Fast forward to 2025 and now, Nas is showing up on the same album with both Kendrick and Pusha T. That's not a coincidence. That's a statement. Loud, clear. UNBOTHERED. And best believe Drake took it personally. Sources close to his camp say he felt betrayed. Why? Because, in his eyes, he gave Nas nothing but respect, no drama, no sneak shots, just love. And now Nas is rolling with his biggest enemies. Yeah, Drake's not letting that slide. Which brings us right back to this Jim Jones versus Nas beef. Because according to fans, this whole thing, it ain't about loyalty, it's about strategy. Drake saw Nas link up with the very rappers he avoids most. So what did he do? He backed the one guy already throwing shots, Jim Jones. Classic Drake move, strategic, petty. Calculated, and let's be honest, Drake's never been the quiet type. When his rep's on the line, the second his shine feels threatened, he makes a move. Messy or not, logical or not. And now fans are calling it for what it is. Proof of how petty Drake can really get. Instead of focusing on his next album, he's out here jumping into beefs that literally have nothing to do with him. All to keep his name in the spotlight. All this? Just because Nas is on a Pusha T album. Just because Kendrick's still surfing the victory wave. Drake couldn't help himself. He backed Jim, took shots, stirred the pot, and truthfully, it fits. Drake's entire playbook has been built on loyalty tests, power shifts, and pure control. He keeps yes men close, keeps challengers out, and if anyone steps out of line, gone, no warning. No conflict, no debate, just image management. So, is it shocking that he jumped into this Jim versus Nas circus? Not really. What is shocking is how silent Nas has stayed. No tweets, no bars, no reactions, just that heavy silence again. And while Drake's out here playing chess, he might just be using pawns who don't even know. They're part of the game. Meanwhile, fans, they're watching the real smoke build. That upcoming Clips album with Pusha, Kendrick, Nas, and Pharrell behind the boards? That's not a feature lineup, that's a power circle. So Drake better sharpen his pen. Because like it or not, Lyrical Wars season is coming. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this video if you're strapped in for the next chapter, because trust, this is just the beginning. See you on the next one.
I have no desire to ever mend anything with that person. And yeah, that situation just went, it just went where it went. And it's just, there's no turning back. It's not like those other situations. I'll say at that point, it wasn't even about battle rap or any of that. It was just, the information was too shocking. It was, like I said, on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no, when it comes to me, he's not going to have any morals or respect. So the other elements of the record, whether it be the shit that he's making up about my mom and my dad, and all this dumb shit, or obviously the part that hit me the most, which is wishing that my friend that has an illness dies. That shit to me is just not really wavy. I'm just not really with that. And when I did say, oh, there's rules to this, I didn't mean there's rules that anybody has to follow. But in battle rap, they just headshotted that guy the other day because he was on stage and he pulled out a picture of the guy's dead aunt and started rapping about, that type of shit. And it just is what it is. There's a point where you're gonna want to stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, your lovely lady or, a child or a family member, and you're just gonna want to not really rap anymore. Yeah. So that's just kind of where I got to. I just had to admit, I'm really, and when I was making the record in Response, which was a real record, I know people think it's some myth. It was on this Vinyls beat, and I just found myself saying things that one seemed really out of character, just because I was deeply invested in the situation and getting very angry, and saying things that I don't know if in 2 years I'd want to hear myself say. And yeah, I just realized that nobody cares about this guy, so it's not really much I can say better than Drake Has a Baby. He won, he won off that